Good morning and a very warm welcome to Pillage Travels on Facebook and on YouTube on this windy January, mid-January of course. We are at Bridlington. We're at Southcliffe Holiday Park, one of my favourite haunts, as you followers will know. After I've been over a week now, I had to come over for some family business. I hope that's come to a helpful conclusion. Got it sorted. My good lady's coming over on Sunday. It is Thursday today, and I'm going into Bridlington. I'm going on the bus, and it makes me a bus person. Idge, please. No rude words. It's a bit chilly, it really is. I went out on the bike the other day, but then I put it away because covering it up with a bike cover makes a lot of noise during the night. And before I carry on, we're up to 198 subscribers. Come on, we want two more. 200 would be nice, wouldn't it? Thanks to the good lady. I'm very sorry I can't remember your name, that I met in Heysham. She subscribed to make it 198. They were picking up the new motorhome, and I hope all went well down in Devon. I'll see if we can do the old turning round trick. Yes, eventually. Right, normally I get this pitch here where this gentleman is in this auto trail. So I've got the next best pitch, which is there. I choose these pitches because it's very narrow here, and they tend to turn the grass up trying to get on. So as you see where we're parked now, they're quite convenient for getting on and off, and it saves upsetting the groundsman, of course, which somebody's done here. I don't know why. For whatever reason, to get to the water. It's a bit naughty, is that, in my view. But normally I have this 141 here handy for the water. I've got 119, which isn't a bad pitch really. I had some trouble with the fridge, constantly beeping. Apart from that, Billy was all right. We filled him up with water. He took some starting. It wanged over quite a lot before we got it started. Put water in, got it all sorted out. And yeah, it's not been bad apart from the fridge. And I found two reasons. One, it possibly wasn't sat, the vehicle wasn't sat properly. Two, I cleaned the fridge seal. I cleaned it, and then I put some lube on it. I put a bit fair liquid on it. This is the welcome centre where you check in. You park just to the right hand side. There's ample parking up area. Walk back to the welcome area and check in. And I got a bus timetable. The buses are not very often this time of year, with it being closed season, of course. The main bit across the road doesn't open until February the 13th, I think, and we'll be away heading up north. The plan is I'm here this evening, then I'm heading back to Burton-Stather, where my good lady is going to rendezvous with me on Sunday, and then we're heading probably up to Whitby. I'm going to see my good friend Dave and Jane Cowley. We like going from Whitby because it's easy to get there. I'll take you through the park and round to the bus stop. I've got ample time for the bus. Then from there on in, we're going, I'm not sure, probably across to Scarborough and back down this neck of the woods. And then our Joe Broomfield's coming over on the 12th of February. We're here for a month or so. The house sale is plodding along. We had a viewing the other day. I don't know if anything will come of that, but hopefully, fingers crossed, and see how we go. I reduced it considerably on the open market, so if anybody wants a hitch, I'm in the Isle of Man. A very good business indeed, with a 9.3 yield, which is quite good. And you know the work I put into that place. It doesn't want anything doing to it at all. It, as I say, turn the key and you're making money. Of course, across the road here now, I had a walk around here yesterday, just went for a daily walk, and it's massive. It really is. There's some caravans on here, static caravans, of course. This used to be the old touring site. I've been coming here for many years when Mackie was alive, of course. Excuse the wind, I don't know how it's affecting the microphone. It's blowing around my ears, I'll tell you. Of course, this is the Mackie's complex up here. Not open, of course, as I've just said. Fish shop, and I noticed there's a pizza shop as well now, which wasn't, I don't think it was there, maybe towards the end of last year it was. Kiddies playground, concert room, of course, here. Have acts on the weekend, some good stuff. And they have bingo and quiz nights, and it's in high season it's a cracking place. I love it here. As I said, I've been coming for many years, and seen the development. It's a bit rough. I had a walk along the front yesterday, it was a bit rough. I went into town on Tuesday evening and met some good friends. Hi to Jenny and Kev. Had a meal in Wetherspoons, and they kindly gave me a lift back home. Again, I got the bus into town. The buses aren't too bad. This one's at 10:39 or something like that, so I've got a good bit of time yet. £3 into town. I haven't got a bus back, but the bus back today is at 2:30, so I've got 2 or 3 hours in Bred. I'll try and take you around with me and see where we end up. Well, we know where that's going to end up, don't we? Coming to the complex, of course, there's your fish shop, the new pizza place, and of course the shop. And then you've got the Mackie's Leisure, the washing machine's over there in the corner. Mackie's Leisure. They do good food in there as well. Excellent Sunday carvery. Is absolutely excellent. We've been quite a few times, we really have. Very nice indeed. And the bus stop's just over there, as you'll probably see behind that barrier. This is the it used to be the check-in for the tourists, but of course now it's just the office for the statics. I was looking at a few statics that were for sale yesterday, but you're talking 40 grand for a new static nowadays. 49 grand I think one of them was. But that's a lot of touring as far as I'm concerned. But they are very nice, Swifts and ABIs and what have you. Looks like some people are waiting for the bus already. I was the only one on the bus last night as I went into town. That was the 1639. We were getting the 10:39 this morning, as I said, and the one back is I think it's about 2:30 from the station. So I've got a few hours in Bridlington. Yeah, a few hours waiting to go in, look, and we'll see where it takes us. So bye for now. Right, there you are, I'm on the bus. Stop it. Stop calling me names. I thought I was getting the 136, which is 10:39. I've got the 130, which is 10:30. So no wonder it was. I thought it was early, but it wasn't. It was on time. Apologies to East Yorkshire Transports, of course. Right, I'll see you in Brid. There we go. Bridlington bus station. Beg your pardon. Came down Marshall Avenue. I lived there back in the 80s when I moved to Bridlington and stopped in Bridlington for a couple of years. There's a little bit of a shopping centre. We'll go there later on. I'll head down the front to start with. You just go down this street here, and you're onto the main thoroughfare from Bridlington up to Sulby and Flamborough, and of course it's awash with cafes and fish shops, of course, Bridlington. Of course this time of year it's rather quiet, not a lot about, very cold. We always used to say that Bridlington was for the old folk and Scarborough was for the young uns. simply because Bridlington's flat and Scarborough's a bit hilly. That was the sole reason for that. Oh, there we go. Seagulls, of course, awash. So you've got to watch your fish and chips, a bit like our Llandudno experience. They were vicious up there, they really were. I'm heading out of town now, and of course this is Wetherspoons to my right here, where I was in there the other night with some friends having a meal. And just a bit further down there is the leisure centre where we go swimming quite often. There's a car park up there. There's a car park to the left between the two buildings over there as well, which we park in there. And it's one of those where you dial in and pay, I think. And of course here we have the Marmaris takeaway, which grill, which is the parent one to in the Isle of Man, that's just been taken over by the Indians, and they made a right mess of it. That's where the Isle of Man one originated, I think. So of course we're heading down the side of Wetherspoons now, along to the seafront. No doubt we'll be popping in there a little bit later on. Well, we've had a bit of a tromp round. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I just thought I needed to get out and about. Again, lots of little cafes all over the place. Dog friendly. You know, that's not my cup of tea, I'm afraid. Sorry folks. You know where I stand on that sort of thing. We've popped in here on the bikes a few times. There's a bike park over there, look. A few boarded up properties as well. Investment for somebody. Maybe. A B&B in Bridlington. I almost bought one many years ago down Marshall Avenue, but we decided not to. Just tend to be a bit rough, does Brid. Pardon me if I'm out of order there, but that's my personal thoughts. If you come on a night out here, you'll see what I mean. Very blustery day today, and of course now we're at the seafront. As I said, just to the left hand side there, that's the leisure centre. The pool's pretty good. Me and Diane have been swimming in there a few times. No doubt we'll be back next week. We'll probably pop in there for a swim. And there we go, there's the seafront. We'll pop down there in a bit. The fun fair that's always here now, permanent fixture on the front here. Kiddies rides, helter skelters, bumper cars, all sorts of things. And again, lots of arcades. Bridlington Forum. Let's have a walk down here, down onto the seafront. Oh, whistling. Must be. I don't know what the whistling is. I don't know if you can hear that. Strange. A roller coaster. Kiddies roller coaster. That's quite quaint. Toilets to the right hand side if you need facilities. Mind I don't get too wet. And there we are, heading towards the harbour. Sandy beaches of Bridlington. Of course, this is I think this is North Shore. Up near us, the other end is South Shore. Lovely beaches. And of course, things are closed up for the season. They're not opening for another couple of months yet. While the season gets going, Easter time I would think they'll start opening up. and a beehive of activity, always is. Montezuma's Indoor Adventureland for the kiddies. I think that's a restaurant there. I've been in there many moons ago. Because heading around to the harbour, where there's lots of pleasure boat trips and things like that. Go around Bempton Cliffs and back, speedboats, and all sorts of rides, pirate ships and things like that in the summer. Just better pull my bobble hat down a bit. It's just getting a bit blustery. It really is. Certainly blows here, and the sea's quite rough. Always at this time of year. It really is. Off grand attractions, bumper cars, and like a pendulum ride of such. These people wobble off. And of course you can't quite see round to Bempton today, which is Flamborough and Bempton over in that direction round there as it curves round Soulby. There is a land train goes from the leisure centre onwards in that direction round to Soulby, I think it goes. That's quite popular in the summer. I'm not sure if it goes at this time of year. As I said, I lived here for a year or so when in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, we were here. We had a flat down Marshall Avenue, and then we moved up to St Anne's Road, which is up near the Beaconsfield to the north, and that was awesome. I used to be away early on a Monday morning, working away, putting pig units up throughout the country, and I used to get up at 4 o'clock and go for a walk down onto the beach before we set off down south or wherever we were going. I enjoyed living here, I really did. Good crack as well in the pubs. In those days, of course, we used to go in the Beaconsfield quite regular on a Saturday and Sunday when I was home. And then eventually me and Yvonne, Sarah's mum, moved to Hull in the 80, 81, 82, just before Sarah was born. And we're down now at the harbour, as you see, speedboat rides. This is a wash with seagulls in the summer. It really is, because of course there's all the fish and chip shops along here. So the seagulls do gather. Ferocious things. And of course there are still fishing boats, as you can see across there. And I think that's the fish market as well, where they sell the produce as and when it comes in. I say looking across now to the south of Bridlington round there, past the Bridlington Spa, where they have lots of good acts and things like that. I saw Status Square there. I'm showing my age now. Many years ago, I used to get all the good bands there, and I still do. They still get a good flurry of groups and things there. Again, pirate ship, look, a 10-minute ride, £4. We'll have a walk out into the harbour, look, and just poke my nose out and have a look backwards as well. And there's I don't know if it's a Yorkshire Bell or something like that, forgive me if I'm wrong. I know that comes in and out of here, whether that's it I'm not sure. I thought the Yorkshire Bell was blue, but we're wrong. There's a pirate ship, look. Arr, behind us. Jack Sparrow. All sorts of boats and fishing boats and yachts, and dual hull. I don't know if the catamarans are dual hull boats. Down here. And I said looking across now to the end of the harbour and the spa and the flats. I always think they're a bit of an eyesore in Bridlington. They're just sticking up there, but I suppose they're serving a purpose. Looking back, there's a couple of pubs we used to go to up there. I can't remember the name of them offhand, and I used to be able to sit on the balcony or against the windows and watch the goings on out in the harbour, watch the boats coming in and out as you was having a beer and something to eat. I quite enjoyed that side of things in Bridlington. As you can hear, the sea is quite rough and it's quite bitter. It really is today. I thought rather than have a day sitting about again, we'll just have a couple of hours in Brid. I might I'll go and have a coffee in a minute and wander about. Of course, shops wise, you've got Argos, quite a few shops in the shopping precinct. Couplands, of course, my favourites for the Yorkshire curds. I like the Yorkshire curds. I said yes. Jane always gets me a Yorkshire curd when I go up to Darlington to save Dave Cowley. Bless her. Get the curds in. Boys, posh name. Diane loves boys, and the knitting. They have a big wool section. She can browse in there for hours. Yorkshire Trading, another one for quite a decent bit of stuff in there. And of course all sorts of other shops. There's big Boots as well, which is where I got my mouse repellent stuff, the peppermint from. I thought that said Hyundai. Oh, it's a dredger, of course. Yeah, I wondered what it was from back there. I thought, is that a ship called the Hyundai? The Gypsy Race dredger. When I was a wee lad, one of my best mates, his dad was the captain of a dredger, and we used to go out quite regular in the Humber with him on his dredger, taking the stuff out there and dumping it in the North Sea. Many moons ago, of course. We haven't seen you much since Christmas. I turned 70 at Christmas. Yep, don't feel a day older. Still the same, but quite a milestone to get to 70. You never think you're going to get to 70. My oh my, where does the time go? I look at my little grandson and he's 4, and I think, dear me. And get well soon, by the way, Tyler. He's got chicken pox at the moment, bless him. It's not bad for kids to have chicken pox when they're young. Saves you getting shingles. I think it's shingles, is it? When you get older, which is quite nasty. So to have chicken pox when you're young, I know it doesn't seem nice at the time, but it's not a bad thing to happen, to be honest. Now there's a thing, look. These boats down here with solar panels on. Yeah. Of course, yeah. You might as well gather the sun while you can on everything. I noticed them on barges, longboats and all that, on the canals. They had an array of solar panels on them now, so they're jumping into the world of technology. Of course, we've come around the front now. We're going to go back up this hill, back up to the main part of town, and I think I'll turn you off and I'll go for a coffee. Again, working away, getting ready for the season. Better go up the footpath, I suppose. I don't want to get run over. When we come into Bridlington on the bikes a few times, the push bikes, this is about as far as you get, because it gets, obviously where I've been, a bit congested. So I get to this corner over there and go through the main town, and then join the promenade again just after the leisure centre, because obviously trying to ride a bike along that bit we've just come round is a bit tricky. This place on the right used to be McDonald's, but I think that's out at near Morrison's now. Oh, that's just a cafe now. And of course the new inn, a haunt of mine back in the 80s, karaoke on a Sunday afternoon. Dear me, fell out of there in some states, I really have. Cracking afternoons out. And of course Stirling Castle, another pub I think round there. That's another one where you can sit on the balcony and look over. Good for food as well. It's I better not cross the road there. I'm crossing the right place. Oh, I think we can cross. It's green. Thank you, Mr. BMW. New in, I might pop in there in a bit. It's a bit early for me. Yeah, there's the shopping precinct up there. Boots on the left hand side just up there, and across there where the repair shop is, that's where you come into Bridlington and turn left to go along up towards the bus station. So that's a quick tour of Bridlington. I hope you've enjoyed it. I say it's very quiet this time of year. I'm going to go for a coffee and warm my hands up, and we'll see you in a bit. Bye now. Good morning and welcome back to the channel. As I've just said, I was heading to get a coffee and I tried two small businesses. I'm a great believer in trying to put something back into small businesses, being a small business myself. And obviously I was going to Wetherspoons for lunch, but I've ended up in Wetherspoons for a coffee. Simply because it's cash only, which it was all well and good during COVID. We had to use our cards and pushed us into that. So of course I don't carry cash. So I've ended up coming back to Wetherspoons for a coffee. So it's a shame for the businesses, but it's how it goes. Talk to you later. Bye now. Hello, back again. We've had a tromp round Brid. A couple of beers watching the cricket in New Inn, and we're back at the Wetherspoons, the Priory John. I've ordered fish and chips and a couple of beers, and quite a, I don't know if a camera will pan around, there we go, quite a nice building. There's an upstairs to it up there, obviously, massive bookshelf up the top there, lovely building. Of course it's Thursday, it's quite empty on a Thursday. Just thought I'd have some fish and chips before I head back. It looks like it's on its way, so thank you. And here it is, fish and chips has just arrived. Very good service here. I went to the counter, didn't use the app. I thought I'd go to the counter. Sat in one of the booths at the end where we sat the other night. Yeah, back in place. So I've got an hour before the bus, and I'll enjoy me small fish and chips. Bye for now.